There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many poor boy, and God, I know I'm one.
Hey there, this is Timmy Angel, and I just want to talk to you guys today about a couple of new books that I came out with. Yeah, I've been working pretty hard in 2021 and getting 2 new books out. They're now available on Amazon. This is the first book I came out with. I already talked about this one earlier. This is called One with God. The book originally was 111 pages. Now I believe it's 78, but the text is very, very, very small, so there's a lot of information in there. This book is a book about enlightenment. I talk in this book about the secrets, just the secrets of antiquity when it comes to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the gold that we're chasing after. Early on, I think we were trained to believe that this world is, a world of perceptions. That this world is something that can only be detected through our 5 senses. The sight, the nose, the mouth, the touch, and the hearing. They're just, it's a world of perceptions though, and what I'm trying to point out in this book is that there's a whole entirely new world that's just running in parallel with, the world that we know. So this book is a book where I found this knowledge early in. Really, I started really getting into this stuff probably back in like 2018, 2017, somewhere in there. I've read the Bible, so I was just like you guys. I mean, I believe that there's a heaven and that God was somewhere else. And now in my research, I'm realizing that the information in the Hermetica and other, books like that that teach the 7 Hermetic principles, well, this information ties right into the Bible. And I'm getting ready to roll out my next book, which is going to be dedicated to you guys, the 144,000 that are protected and sealed by God. So this is my first book, One with God. And in my second book, I talked about, really a whole different perspective, a history of my life. You see, I started out, I didn't go to, when I was young, I wasn't even 21. This is really the final part of the story, 21. I wasn't even 21, and I was thrown into jail for a conspiracy charge. It was a conspiracy to murder, but no one was killed. So, in the elements of conspiracy to murder, in North Carolina, you have to commit some kind of overt act towards completing the plan, and there has to be a plan between at least 2 people. So, really not that hard to prove that somebody is guilty of that crime. So this book is the latest book. This is 221 pages, and they're both fabulous books. This is really my second book, I'd say, has some of this same information about the spiritual world. It's mixed in, but it also has a history of my life. And, it started out very early. I wasn't even 21. And, I'm laying out in this book that these demons have been harassing me since the beginning of time. Actually, one thing that I didn't point out in this book was that when I was 18, inside Ohio, I was charged with a misdemeanor drug paraphernalia charge. And they planted one of those little marijuana one-hitters in the back of a squad car. I never saw the thing. It looked like a little cigarette, but you could stick a little bit of weed in it. This was way back when I was 18, so I'm 47 now. So this is just about 30 years. So yeah, so now I think it would be a little different because weed is legal now. But this is my second book, and some of the chapters that are in this we have Discrimination of the Law-Abiding Criminal, Introduction, The Foster Years, The Night That Changed My Life, The County Jail, Prison Camp, Demons in My Life, The Afterlife of Prison, God's Salvation, After Prison History, Discrimination, The System, The Aftermath, and finally The Prophecy. So this is a great book, and really this is too. They're both great books. I spent a lot of time editing, and I created these books myself. Go ahead and check out tnwebpages.net, and you can get a direct link to the books. They're on Amazon right now. But yeah, as far as the first book goes, the chapters that are inside this are, let's see, okay, it doesn't list the chapters, but this is a great book. It has an introduction, and then it has a chapter on the 7 Hermetic Principles. It has a chapter on the 7 Gates of God, the Star Children, the Road to God, 7 Gates of God, the System, the 7 Spirits of God, and Conclusion, and much more. But great book, very, very interesting. And here's another thing that I point out inside of this book, a very strange technology, but you guys know that I laid out earlier in my story called 21 that I live in apartment number 210. Now, if you take off the 0, it's 21. And if you do some basic math, you realize 21 is 7 times 7, 7 plus 7 plus 7. So that brings me to this. It was in 2020, in December of 2020, when on Christmas I found my star. I did my birth chart, and what I found out is very interesting. If you really look closely at this, my birth chart looks like a morning star. And not only does it look like a morning star, but you can look at it this way. It looks like a biohazard sign. It looks like a rising sun, like the morning star. Look at Scripture 2:27 and 2:28 in Revelations, and you will find. Let's see. Let's go ahead and look up those scriptures. But you will find that God awards he who has overcome all the pleasures of this earth and has obtained spiritual purity, spiritual perfection, one who has obtained the 7 stars and the 7 spirits. This person has this perfect knowledge, this pure knowledge, and you obtain 10 powers of God. A couple of the powers of God are truth and justice. And one thing you're going to find is that once you obtain this enlightenment, people can't lie to you. You develop this 6th sense, and it's kind of hard to prove it really, but when you start seeing things that happen and you start getting just psychic glances of things happening, as an example, this book really talks about how the justice system has really kind of harassed me this whole time, and it's my theory that there are these evil entities. They may not actually be real entities. They could just be subconscious entities of Satan. But these entities, I theorize that they've just been chasing me my whole life. And, it just goes to prove, like, every time everything's going great for me, it seems, for like a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, maybe I can avoid them. I even avoided them for 10 years once after, the conspiracy charge, after I got out of prison and everything. But, it's like every time I turn around, they're chasing me down and trying to harass me. And if you get into this position where you're really marked, I advise adhering to all of your rights. Exercise every single constitutional right that you can exercise. And I'm going to give you an example. Like, I'm not saying the whole police force is bad. You have a lot of good cops, and you have a lot of bad cops. We all know this. So these evil seeds, or these bad cops, they're the ones that are stirring up all the negative forces in this world. And a lot of the times, they'll break rules. Like, for instance, they'll just show up at your house. They'll want you to open your door. And when you open your door, really, what good is going to come of it? I mean, if you open the door, they're going to check everybody in the house to see if anybody has any misdemeanors or any reason that they can just take them away. And it's happened before. My baby's mama, she actually had a couple warrants before, and every time they came to the house, they would just take her to jail, and then the whole family would be focusing on how to get her out of jail, how to bond her out. And it's like, if we would have never answered the door, that would have never happened. Now, that's why I'm saying exercise your rights. You know what I mean? Don't let them search your house. Don't let them, search your car unless they have a search warrant. Make sure they have that in writing. If it's just a bully cop trying to bully you around, this is the way things work right now. And I propose that we should have some safeguards. I mean, there should be no possibility of a bad cop being able to ruin someone's life just because, they're on the wrong side. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, in these books I lay out, this is really a battle between good and evil. And once we receive this knowing, it's really a lot easier to survive in this world. You have to understand the duality. There's always, in every single thing, it has two different flavors, 2 different degrees, you have hot and cold, you have male and female, you have death and life,
Now the only thing a gambling man needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time a fool like him is satisfied is when he's all stone cold drunk.